Hello and welcome to GEOSCOPE with me, Graham Hughes. And tonight I'm joined, as always, by Ollie Bowler Hatman. How you doing, Ollie Bowler Hatman?
I'm all right.
Where's your bowler hat, man?
As always, I left it at home.
Okay, I've got to always ask that question.
I'm on Graham's
obviously.
Island today.
Oh, fantastic! Nice. I don't actually have a beach on my island. It's Mangrove Island. It's surrounded by trees.
Oh well, yeah. Just don't take a peek behind the curtain.
Anyway, so I think we're streaming. Someone said you need to press the go live button. We should already be going live. I think we're going live. Should I just double check? Should I just make sure that that's actually going out? Yes, yes, we are going out live. Right, Ollie.
Yeah, there we are.
Right. How was your week off? Was that all right?
It was really good. I was up in Aberdeen, up in Scotland.
I went to Denmark. I went to Denmark for a week to visit my aunties and cousins. My auntie, my uncle, and my cousins in Denmark. And we went to Legoland, which I hadn't been to, and I wanted to go when I was a kid, but it was too far.
You've been to the
Copenhagen.
proper Legoland then?
Proper, yeah, the original and best. The Coca-Cola. The KFC of Legolands, the original, not some Pepsi Cola, Johnny Come Lately, you know. Anyway, right, you're live, says Sarah. That's good news. So tell me more about this games console. I should have got a games controller as a prop, shouldn't I? Tell us more about this games console, Ollie.
Well, I think there isn't a name for it yet, but okay. I think it has been dubbed the Kremlin Cube.
The Kremlin Cube. Oh, I like it. I was trying to think of like Russia puns. Puninator. Talking of puns, thank you very much for the super chat, Puninator. Urgent question was, he's going to ask about your bowler hat, but he can't because I asked it first. So come on, tell us more about this thing. This console.
So during 2020, while we were all panicking about the pandemic, Putin was really panicking about the pandemic. He went, from all intents and purposes, into isolation. He was just in isolation by himself, and he started playing computer games. A good original.
You can see through it because it's a green screen. Anyway, yes.
So he's been playing computer games in his isolation to keep him occupied, and in his infinite wisdom, he has now decided that the games console market is far too much dominated by the Americans, and that there needs to be a Russian alternative. So he has now decreed the creation of a. Oh.
You keep talking. I'm just adding some background music.
He has now decreed the creation of a Russian, not only gaming company, but console creation company that is going to create the next big gaming sensation to sweep the world. And this will also help envision, help the Russian youth with their entertainment, and it will dominate the entertainment markets.
Brilliant. Are they going to have Tetris?
Oh, well, probably. In fact, actually, that's something I would have to recommend. There is a movie about the history of Tetris.
A movie?
Yes,
like a motion
it came out very recently. And it was all about the guy who saw Tetris just randomly at a convention.
Yeah.
And also happened to go to Japan at the same time where the Nintendo were developing the Game Boy, and they were looking for a game to put on the Game Boy to be like the big thing that pushed it. He saw Tetris and he went, oh, wow, we need to get Tetris on the Game Boy. And at the same time, the Soviet Union was collapsing. So there's this whole story about how he's trying to beat the mafia, because the mafia turn out that think that, oh my God, this is going to be a big thing as well. So they're trying to seize it and take the rights to it. It's a really fun story. How true it is, I can't
is another
say.
matter. Okay, but
it's a fun story.
I mean, there's a lot going on in Russia at the moment. Is this really something that Putin should be prioritizing? They're at war. I know he thinks it's a special military operation, but they're at war. Serious. Serious shit going down. You know.
Well, when you're a dictator, elected dictator. Obviously, they just had the elections very recently. You can sort of do what you want. This is sort of this is what Liz Truss would be like.
Okay.
If she actually was in.
Yeah, that's pretty awful. And I'm going to put into the chat. I don't want everyone to go, but if you go in the chat, that's a complete history of the Soviet Union arranged to the melody of Tetris. It's one of my favorite videos of all time on YouTube. Well worth checking out. I am the man who arranges the blocks, and you'll never get a tune out your head. Indeed. But yeah, I just think he should have better things to do, shouldn't he? I mean, like. Seriously, the games. Who cares? Like, maybe all this is a game to Vladimir Putin. But,
probably
is. He's gone quite. I think he's lost. I think he's lost the plot. To be honest with you,
people say this is one of the things that a lot of people have suspected when all this kicked off. There was all the talk about, why has Putin done this? What's going on? Surely his advisors would have warned against this. But because of COVID, because he's been in such deep isolation.
Are you talking about the console or are you talking about Ukraine?
This is Putin himself.
Yeah.
This is how it all links together. And this is because he was so isolated in his own little bubble. This is what a lot of people think. This is why he ended up deciding to, take the plunge and invade Ukraine, because he thought, and what the information he was being told, the information he was being getting wasn't all true. He had a very, very small circle during that time, and he's become even more paranoid and, effectively, I think even worse as time has gone on. So we'll see what happens if the Kremlin Cube comes to pass. Maybe there'll be a Russian knockoff version of Pokemon.
I'm being asked if I've got any Pokemon games. I've got original Pokemon Red. There you go. It's original Pokemon Red. No messing around. And I've got Gargoyle's Quest. I've got Revenge of the Gator. God, that was a good one. I've got Pokemon Blue in here somewhere. Where's Pokemon Blue gone? Where's it? Oh, it's in my Game Boy. It's actually in my Game Boy. There you go. Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue, so I could get them all. Because you couldn't catch them all unless you had a friend or you had both editions. But there you go. And there's actually, this is an invite to the screening of Pokemon the first movie in the Odeon on Sunday, the 9th of April, 2000. There you go. There's a bit of
times.
Video and it was crap. But yeah, there's a bit of history for you there in my little history box. But yes, I do have Pokemon stuff. Bread and Tetrises says GHK. Thank you very much for the super chat. That's really kind. Did I do a super chat earlier? Did I do a little animation for Puninator? I think I did. If I didn't, I'm very sorry. But yes, thank you very much to GHK for the super chat there. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about Iran and Israel, because that's always fun, isn't it?
Oh, well, last week we left this off with Israel striking the embassy
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Well, was it 2 weeks ago?
It was the last episode. It was 2 weeks. We didn't do one last week.
Was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah, it was. Yeah. 2 weeks ago now. Yeah.
Time's gone funny since COVID.
I've lost time, has lost all meaning. But this all is what it was being spurred on by. And this was, by all intents and accounts, a pretty sort of sustained attack over quite a long distance. Certainly one of the biggest barrages Iran has ever launched in its history in this distance, not only just from Iran, but also linking with Houthis, linking with not Hamas. Lebanon. Hezbollah, that's it, yeah. Linking
Hamas,
with them.
Hezbollah, Houthis.
Yep. So it was all linking into them, all sort of a very, very big attack. But while this was sort of said by Iran, this is going to be our vengeance strike, a lot of people seem to have ignored that it has been reported that Iran went to not only Israel, but America and said, hey, guys, we're going to be launching this attack. These are the types of weapons we're going to be using. These are where, all the, missiles are going to be flying through. pretty much communicating where and when this attack was going to be. And as a result, pretty much all the missiles have been shot, pretty much were shot down by Israel, the US. The Jordanian Air Force also got involved. We also apparently got involved as well.
Ollie, how many British people died in this attack?
None.
Oh, how many
Well,
British
actually, no, there was
people?
one girl who died.
Yeah, the British people. How many Brits died in this attack?
None.
How many Brits died in the attack on the workers, on the charity workers in Gaza?
3.
Three Brits.
Was it 3?
Yeah.
Yep.
Three British citizens were killed by Israeli armaments, by a bomb that was dropped on their vehicle, actually. If that had been Iran who had done that, do you think we would still be selling them weapons?
No.
Ollie, do you think that's what we'd be doing?
Oh, no.
Yeah, we probably would have gone to war by now. But that's just the duplicity of the modern state of Britain. I just want to jump in and say that David Lilly said Pokemon Hammer and Sickle. Sorry, I just had to go back to that because it tickled me. But yeah, no, we're talking about quite a serious subject here, obviously. But yeah, everyone, the newspapers for the last few days have been like, what's Israel going to do? What's his response going to be? But this was a response to the fact that Israel blew up an embassy an Iranian embassy in Syria, in Damascus, killing several top generals and people from Iran. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Of course they were going to respond, and part of this is really to keep the sort of the street cred that Iran has with those other organizations. Because remember, Iran sort of supports the Houthis, they support Hezbollah, they support Hamas, they provide them with funds and weaponry. So this is how they maintain control of them, by providing them that. So them not striking back would be seen by those other organizations as like, well, they attacked you, you didn't attack back. That makes you look weak in their eyes. This has been a very calculated strike. Even Iran saying, look, we're going to, hey, Israel, America, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to attack. And afterwards, there's going to be no response, because as much as serious this, is, you wouldn't tell your enemy that you're about to sort of launch bombs at them. This would be like in the Second World War, if Winston Churchill and Hitler were both phoning each other up, going, okay, we're going to send this air raid over to Germany here to bomb this city. This is the flight path, the bombers will be taking. It's mainly to sort of maintain their street cred with those organizations. You wouldn't do so otherwise. And I think this is them trying to maintain that street cred, but also hopefully there's going to be no more. There's going to be no escalation, and that's what we've got to watch for the next couple of days. Will Israel respond? America has been pretty adamant, saying, "Yeah, this is it. This is over. Don't respond, Israel, because we're not interested in being dragged into a larger war."
Yes,
definitely taking advantage of Joe Biden's unwillingness to be dragged into a larger war at the same time. To just almost score a bit of a PR victory in many ways with this. But it was a serious escalation, probably the serious one we've seen since the beginning of all this.
But what if, go with me here, what if Netanyahu looks at the situation and goes, once Trump gets in, we're probably going to get no support whatsoever, because Trump is a nativist. He doesn't want to help out any other country apart from the United States of America. He doesn't even want to help out the United States of America. He wants to plunge it into civil war. But that's another story. I worry that Netanyahu will go, well, I'm going to force America's hand by stuff kicking off in the Middle East, and then they will have to get involved. Don't forget, British, French, American armaments were used at the weekend to defend Israel. Our militaries were involved in that operation. So if it comes to a full-scale war in the Middle East, we're going to have to get involved, even though I don't think anyone wants to.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing that's been communicated from us, from France. Don't escalate this, and I think they would be foolish to escalate this, because Netanyahu will really isolate himself then if he does respond, and then of course Iran will have to respond back, and it will be it's just a tit for tat exchange that will just get and escalate more and more and more.
What would be mad,
and then this then becomes sort of a regional conflict.
Yeah, and what would be mad is there's a good chance that Saudi Arabia would come in on the side of Israel. Mortal enemies for many years. I don't know if it's still the case, but for many years, if you were Jewish, you were not allowed in the kingdom of Saudi Arabia at all. You were banned. A bit like that, the Muslim ban that Trump tried to bring in America, because Trump wants to make America just like Saudi Arabia. With the same kind of rights for women, rights for minorities, rights for gay people. None. But should we talk about Trump for a moment? His court case started this week. So they're doing their jury selection. They've got to find 18 people in the whole city, well, not the state, the borough of Manhattan. They've got to find 18 people who have no opinion on Trump.
Well.
Good luck, peeps. So normally jury selection takes about an afternoon. I think it's going to take several weeks. And the wonderful thing about this is, I was thinking, won't the Trump lot try and make it take ages? And I'm like, actually, yeah, because he's got to be in court every day because it's a criminal trial. He has no choice. And he fell asleep on day one.
Yep, doesn't surprise me. I mean, one of the things a lot of people you'll notice that cover the American politics a lot have all been saying this. If you look at Trump, he is becoming increasingly more tired. He's lost a lot of weight. So all this criminal law stuff that's been involved with has really been quite a considerable drain on him. It's even been noticed that his rallies that he seems to be less energetic than he used to be.
Yeah. Oh, we just got news coming in that the 6 jurors have actually been selected, and including the 4-person. That's the person who reports, I guess. So yeah, there you go. And then a new panel of 96 potential jurors have been sworn in.
How many people do you think out of that 95 are they gonna go through?
Well, I mean,
needle haystack.
I know, but they've got 6. They've got 6, so they need 18 though. That's how many they need, because they need 12 who are going to actually be the jury, and then you have 6 in reserve. And what happens is they watch the whole thing, and then at the end, if there's any problems during the trial or after the trial, and one of those jurors drop out, the reserve people take their place, and they don't. I don't think they select the final 12. Like in Battlestar Galactica's reboot, they don't select the final 12 until the last minute, I don't think. But I don't know. I'm not an American lawyer, not even a British lawyer. Emma Price, thank you. Thank you very much, Emma Price. Super chat. Thank you very much for the super chat. My chat didn't work last time. It's the deep state, lefties, tofu-eating, wokerati, cancel culture. I keep saying Trump is done, and you don't believe me. Well... I thought that
it's
Brexit
not that I don't believe Trump is done. We've been here before. We said this back in 2016, and it's the fact that he is running again, and that threat is not zero.
Yes, exactly. And that's a good way of putting it, Ollie. Emma, the threat is not zero. If it was zero, I could sleep a lot sounder. I believe me.
November is a long time to hold your breath, and I keep on saying that because it's true.
It is. Leapshin says, "Why is Max running his live stream at the same time as you guys?" That's a good point. Can we move this later, or do you need to go to bed? I just mean in future. This is the sort of question. This is the sort of discussion we normally don't have on.
I'm fine doing it now at the moment, really. I mean, after this, it's sort of it's a school night.
It is a school night. Well, that's the problem, because we don't want to be really competing against Max. Do you know what we could do? We could move it to Monday. If you're up for that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe
Mm.
Monday's my gaming club night.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So I wouldn't be able to commit to every Monday.
Oh, okay. But you can commit to every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Well, what if we went earlier than Max? Would you be available earlier in the evening?
Yeah, we could do it earlier than that. Yeah.
Yeah, let us know in the chat what you think. If we should move Geoscope to maybe 7 o'clock, 7 till 8. Would that work for you?
Yep, that'd be fine.
Michael says that Ollie looks like he's in a different time zone. You do indeed. With the Google Meet automatic backdrops. Super chat came in. Thank you very much to Puninator. Trump's lawyers realised he'll only win in his dreams. Tim taking a nap is just his legal strategy in action.
Yeah, his true strategy is Freddy Krueger. That's his only way. That's his real lawyer.
Yeah. Sarah says, "Isn't the swear jar on Monday?" Well, it was supposed to be. We haven't done an episode of the swear jar this year. Actually, we haven't done one this year. It's April. Oh my god, time's gone so quick. But yeah, it was supposed to be Mondays for that. But if you're not available every Monday, let's keep it on a Tuesday. But if we can make it a little bit earlier, so we're not clashing with good old Max. Maybe we could make this finish just as Max comes on, so everyone watching this can go and then watch Max.
Yep,
that seems like a fine way to spend a Tuesday night.
I think you can now do raids on YouTube. I think
raids.
Yes.
What? Like we used to on what the hell was it? We used to
Twitch.
On Twitch. We used to raids on Twitch, didn't we?
Yeah. So you can do raids now on YouTube, but I'm not sure how you do it.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna write this down because this is cool. All right, we'll look into it. There you go. Let's do admin while people are watching. Ollie. Earlier is fine, says number 3. Okay, well if you're up for it, Tommy's up for the earlier time as well. I suppose if people want to watch it at 9 o'clock, they could just watch it on catch up.
Yeah,
but you might be able to comment, and that's half the fun, I think, of watching these live shows. Is you get to set us off on some mad tangent to talk about something completely different to what we were supposed to be talking about, i.e. Pokemon Hammer and Sickle. Okay, so moving on. So Africa's Most Wanted. Tell me about Africa's Most Wanted.
This is I learned about this weekend from someone, and I was like, how have I not heard of this? So strap yourselves in, because oh boy, this is a story with many a twist and turn.
Okay, before you tell it, can I just give a big thank you to Emma? That's the wrong button. That's the outro. Thank you very much for the super chat. Earlier doesn't work for me, says Emma. So we might have a problem there. Might have an issue because we don't lose our Emma. It's quite important to our shows. So there you go. And Tim says, have you been watching the US versus Fisher case? Nope. I've never even heard of it. Have you heard of that?
Nope.
Ollie? Nope. Sorry. You'll have to elaborate there, Tim. Right. So go on. Tell us about Africa's Most Wanted. Should I get the popcorn out? Should I just lean back?
Yeah. This is definitely a popcorn worthy moment.
Okay. Right. Go on.
Oh my. Where to begin? Where to begin? So we start in South Africa in Johannesburg with a guy called Thabo Blaster. I think that's how you say his name. And this guy is not a good guy. He's a complete con artist who sets up a fake modeling agency over Facebook, and then lures young women into sort of hotel rooms and robs them and steals their laptop, and becomes quite successful at this over a long period of time. And he makes quite a substantial amount of money. Then, through doing this, he starts dating someone. She finds out about his scam and what he's doing, and he ends up, unaliving her. Is I think the best way to do this. So he then gets caught and then gets sent to jail. And bear in mind, this is only the start of what is going to happen here. So he's in jail for 10 years at this point. But during that time that he's in jail, he meets someone he used to go to college with from at least how the story goes. And while he's in jail, they start meeting up with each other in jail. They end up sort of falling in love and become sort of a couple while he's in jail. Then, out of nowhere, there is now a fire in this jail, and his body is discovered dead, burnt alive, and everyone thinks that he's committed suicide.
But it's not him.
Oh no!
Sorry, spoilers.
Oh boy! Oh boy! The twists and turns this is about to take.
Somebody else.
So what happens is when he is sort of, we need to confirm the body. She comes in, his girlfriend comes in and says, "Oh yes, that's definitely the body. That's him." So this goes on for a year. Then, over a year later, Tabo's mother finally sees the news and goes, "Oh, I'm his mother. I want to see the body. I need to, see my son, get all the burial stuff is." They didn't believe her at the time. So they did a DNA check. And guess what? Didn't match. So instantly, a massive manhunt gets started while this guy has been free for over a year. And during that year, both him and his girlfriend have returned to scamming people with fake businesses, including creating a conference to sell tickets where they were claiming that Halle Berry was going to be at.
Okay.
Right. And then you might ask, well, how did they get this body in? Like, how did they make the switch? Well, his girlfriend find someone through her medical connections, because it turns out she's a plastic surgeon. She finds someone who has recently died and doesn't seem to have any relatives, and no one's come to sort of claim the body. So she goes in, says, I'm one of his relatives. That body is his. We need to take it for the funeral. No questions asked.
Right.
She then gets the body, then bribes 3 prison guards to smuggle this body in, and then the body is then burnt while he dresses up as a prison guard, and they both make their escape.
We got someone in the chat. We got Blue Badger 88 saying, "Is this real or a show?"
No, this is real. This is real. This actually happened. This is real. This actually happened in South Africa. And he was caught just very recently. He was caught on the 8th, where he was trying to make a break over the border to escape to Kenya. So this is one of the insane things that sometimes happen, that you're like, oh, what's going on here? Who is this guy? And then he is now luckily being caught as his girlfriend. He's now back in jail. She's waiting for a trial date. But yes, that is the insane story of Thabo Blaster. Or Thabo Bester, I think
there's
it
been
is.
There's been a documentary or something about it, and it's called Tracking Thabo Bester, which is it premiered on the 15th of March on Showmax this year, and it's just it's a bit of a mad story, that isn't it?
It is. It's just how did it all happen? How did they get away with this? But it's just.
Well, yeah, there you go. I just want to say a quick hello to George out there. George Catton, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Have you seen that SCOTUS has gutted SCOTUS has gutted the First Amendment? Has it? I didn't see this. Have you seen?
Yeah, I've
Anything about this?
seen something about it. What's happened on the ruling, but I'm
This
not
is about
100% sure what it is.
the January the 6th rioters, isn't it?
I think I'm not sure. Like I say, I've seen some bits of it, but I haven't kept up with that.
Okay, the Supreme Court's ultra-conservative ultra-majority indicated Tuesday that it might toss out a charge prosecutors have lodged against hundreds of people who took part in the January 6th riot in the US Capitol, a decision that could force the Justice Department to reopen some of those cases. They signalled concern with how the Justice Department is enacting using the law enacted by Congress more than 2 decades ago in response to the Enron accounting scandal. Critics claim the felony charge, which carries a prison sentence of up to 20 years, was intended to prevent evidence tampering, not an insurrection in support of a president who lost re-election. I mean, these people went after America. They went after the heart of American government. They went after the Capitol building, in which you have the House of Representatives and the Senate. They went after the vice president. They were going to murder the vice president. They were going to murder Nancy Pelosi. That was the plan going in there. They weren't going in to give anyone presents or to tickle them or to be nice. They were going in to kill. And they did kill. They managed to end the lives of, was it 8 people altogether? At least 2 of them were police officers.
There were 6 people who died that day, and then there were obviously police officers after that day who committed suicide.
Yeah. And so Trump is, you have these people who are part of Antifa and things will say defund the police. Well, Trump wants to decease the police. And apparently he's on the side of law, justice, and Jesus Christ. You can buy one of his Bibles for $60 a pop if you're really mad. Or you could buy some stocks in his company that's been floated. Truth Social, DJT, as it's on the ticker tape, which has lost, was it
50% of its value, 50%. I think.
But it's lost like 75% of its high, hasn't it? Because it had like this little high that it had on the first day.
Absolutely bled in value completely.
Yeah. So if anyone has invested in it, they have invested badly. And I heard that Trump's shorting his own stock now. Or he's not shorting it. There's a thing that he's doing basically to make his stock worth more and everyone else is worth less. I think he's just giving himself 16 million more shares.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
But yeah,
surprise me.
Suckers. There's a sucker born every minute, and every one of them votes for Trump. Tommy says for a moment there, Ollie was going to say this dead person came back to life after he was pronounced dead. Not quite what happened there. That's Tommy in the chat. And George is saying they refused to reverse a ruling in the Fifth Circuit that made protest organisers liable for anything that happened at the protest. Oh wow. Okay. Well, actually, wouldn't that mean that that's bad news for Trump? Because you can say, oh, they weren't trying to burn down the Capitol building. They were actually just protesting because I told them to.
Yeah, that seems to be going after a lot of like the Black Lives Matter people.
Yeah. It's in the South.
It seems to be targeted at.
Yeah. George says, meaning it'll be impossible to do a mass protest in the South. No, making you liable for the protest includes counter-protest, purposefully destroying things.
Oh yeah, that's bad then. Yeah, that's gonna affect massively a lot of people then. But yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And something else that happened before we went on air. There's rumors flying around that Clarence Thomas, one of the conservative Supreme Court justices, hasn't appeared for a while.
Yeah, he's
been out of action,
missing.
and there's a lot of people saying that he might have had a serious health issue. So there could be
his absence
a spot open on the Supreme Court.
Well, I bloody hope so. They need to get this conservative ultra majority. What the Democrats need to do is put in like a 20-year-old into the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
who's incredibly liberal.
I don't
a 20-year-old trans woman, black trans woman. That's what they need. Who's 20 and basically comes from long-lived stock. So all of her ancestors all lived till they were at least 117 years old. And just so there you go.
I don't think there's any judges of that age, unfortunately.
I just want to not only be on the court forever, but also have a vested interest in progressive policies. Yeah, go with me on this one.
Yeah.
I was going to just say a couple of things in the chat there that were coming up. Where was it? Someone was saying about GEOSCOPE. Oh yeah, Max. We were just talking about Phil was on Sunday Roast with Max and Alex at the weekend, and it was very, very good. So if you haven't actually seen that episode of Sunday Brunch, I really Sunday Roast. I keep calling it Sunday Brunch. I've been on it, and I keep calling it Sunday Roast with Max and Alex. Yeah, on Political X's channel. Please check it out. It was very good. And George says, unfortunately, the Dems probably can't put in a new justice. Well, that's probably true. Even if he does pop his clogs now, they'll say, "Oh, it's too close to the election," and they wouldn't let anyone through.
Yeah, the Republicans will try and hold it up every way they possibly can.
Why didn't the Democrats do that? Why didn't the Democrats do that?
They could have done. They could have done. They just could have just refused to confirm.
Yeah. When Vader Ginsburg died in the summer of 2020, they should have just hung on. They just said, no, we're not confirming anyone. We're not even going to talk about it. Countdown to Power is saying a 20-year-old black, Jewish, lesbian, trans woman. Yes, that ticks all the boxes, and would make everyone who reads the Daily Mail cry. This is the only reason I live.
I mean, if it is true and it comes, because it'll probably if this has happened, it'll probably come out in the next couple of days, if not tomorrow, and then it's a massive opportunity to replace him with someone who is a lot more liberal. Yeah, and I think Biden should really just ram it through and just say, right, this is the guy. You can say what you want, but hey, you force through. What's her face? I can't remember what her name was. Like the youngest Supreme Court justice ever. She's like 40 something.
Yeah, she's 14.
Yeah, she's not that young. But yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that you could do, sort of make the case. It's will they hold their nerve or not on this? Because the Democrats have at times like really, really like had points where they could have really sort of squeezed the Republicans on stuff, and then they've just not done it. And abortion, by the looks of it, is going to be potentially one of the biggest issues at the upcoming election. That is going to be a big, big one from it.
Yeah.
So that will be very, very interesting if that does become an issue, because the Republicans right now are trying to run from it because they've realized that doing that has lost them a lot of support that they used to have. So expect abortion, especially in the run up to this, to be a big, big campaign issue for both Trump and Biden. And Biden does seem to be doing that, but he will be able to massively potentially win states, maybe even like Arizona, where we've just seen a abortion law from
1864 abortion
before
law.
even it became a state.
Yes.
So
you've got that clown woman. I've forgotten her name. Amy Coney Barrett. Thank you very much, Ernie. Is the name of the Supreme Court justice who's barely 50 years old. And then you've got Carrie Lake, is it in Arizona? And she's the one who supported this act being brought in, and now she's saying, "Oh no, I never supported it." And they've got like her support. It's like they think that things that happen in the past, no one's got any kind of record of them. Yeah. Especially when they do things in public. It's like, no, we remember you doing this thing. We saw you do this thing. Anyway, Carrie Lake, is it the Republican? She's a bit of a nutter.
Yeah. Like I say, most of these Republicans tend to be, especially when it comes to this issue. And I was watching the Majority Report. I was catching up on it on my train coming back, and they actually did a report about this. They did a story about Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro are trying to walk back, being like so hardcore abortion. They've said that we can't jump from where we are now to no abortion, that you've got to sort of slow boil the frog. But they have been ones at the very front of this movement to sort of push for like a complete abortion ban. And now
Yes.
it's funny because they're realizing that there's electoral consequences for doing this, and they're now trying to walk it back.
Yeah. Gotta hate Ben Shapiro. I mean, look, even if I agreed with anything that he had to say, which I don't, his voice just pisses me off. It sounds like the fucking aliens from Mars Attacks. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't bear it, man. You know when they say about someone they've got a face for radio, he hasn't got a voice for radio.
And then you've got Charlie Kirk, who's got like small face.
Yeah, and then you've got that dickhead from Canada, you know, the one who pretends to be a professor or something, and he sounds like
Jordan Peterson. That's him.
Jordan Peterson. He sounds like one of the Mel Blanc bloody Looney Tunes characters. How can you take him seriously with that voice?
Oh, you've got to watch the video of someone where they've mixed him with Kermit the Frog. It's perfect.
He does sound a lot like Kermit. He does. One of Frank Oz's latest creation. I don't think much of him. He pretends to be a professor of things. Indeed. Anyway, right. So yeah, we'll move on. Well, should we move on, or should we just talk about Trump's trial? So Trump's trial. Jury selection this week. Might go into next week, but if they've got 6 of them already, maybe they'll get to 18. The good news about the jury selection is that it's in Manhattan. You have to live in Manhattan to be part of the jury. And Manhattan voted 87% for Biden. So of all the places to have a jury trial against Trump, probably the best in those times. But if a diehard Trumpster manages to get through the jury selection process, they could conceivably cause a mistrial, which could leave this case being put on hold for another few months, and by then Trump could be president, and then all bets are off. So Copenhagen fire. That's from Michael Warner. Yeah, I was literally in Copenhagen this time last week, this old building from it's an old market building from the was Exchange Building, was it? 400 years old. The Stock Exchange. 400-year-old building with this amazing spire with dragons on it. It was covered in scaffold, so I didn't actually get to see the thing last week, and it's burnt down. I hope they rebuild it as it was, like they've done with Notre Dame. But yeah, this
is something that I think I've talked about this before, but Westminster, like if you know anyone who's been like on the Westminster tour and they've shown you the underground, and the tour guides will show you, oh yeah, this pipe, we don't know where this leads, we don't know what it does, because it's just been built on more and more and more. There's asbestos all over the place in there. There's wiring that dates back to like the 1930s, even earlier than that in some cases. There's even MPs have literally terrified to like plug the charger into the wall for like the phones and the laptops, because
there's several fires, isn't there? Each month there's several fires that need putting out. They've got a specialist group of people.
And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to go up one day. We're going to have our own Notre Dame. Because Notre Dame is a shame, because
it is a beautiful building. But I don't think that Parliament should be there anymore. It's not fit for purpose.
Yeah, even if you wanted to sort of say, oh well, we'll keep it. It's
we'll keep it as a museum.
If we're not,
turn it into a museum of democracy or something.
British history of British Parliament. That would be a good museum.
Phil and I have been arguing about where Parliament should be based in the UK. He reckons Doncaster, and I'm saying, I'm putting the vote in for Liverpool. But we were talking about it this morning on the show, and I thought actually I don't want Tories coming to Liverpool. So no, I'm withdrawing my offer. Doncaster, it is. You can have them.
It wouldn't be just Parliament as well. You've got to find a new home for the Lords as well. Yeah. So this is where you could be. Maybe what you could do, you could balance it out between like Yorkshire and Lancashire. So
I'll tell you what we do need though. We need 4 hotels that are purpose-built hotels in London or wherever the Parliament is, and that's where MPs who are not from London stay when they are in Parliament. That's it. No second homes. Funded by the taxpayer.
Well, there is. It's just that poorly kept that none of the MPs stay in
no
it.
one ever stays there. No, that's got to end.
This is it where it needs to be done, and they've just got to swallow it and do it. Because first of all, what you've got to do is you've got to go, okay, if we're going to do this, we've got to have an alternative. Where are we all going to move to? And then maybe you've got to build like a temporary structure somewhere or wherever. But you've got to do that first before you can even think about moving. Then once you move, then you can get in there and start to do it. But it's going to cost a lot of money to do. But it is something that desperately needs doing, because otherwise you are going to have just an MP who just plugs the phone in, and then it's going to cause a fire somewhere else in the building. And then it's either going to catch on really quickly, or as you said, the fire team isn't going to get there in time, and it's going to spread very, very quickly.
Spread like literal wildfire. I'm loving the fact that Vendetta in the chat, whose avatar is the mask from V for Vendetta, says a museum of fascism, more like. Yeah, good point. Fair enough. We all have our take on that. They could have it on the maybe Stockholm. That's a suggestion from Jez Hunt.
It's not big enough. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it's not big enough.
David wants to send the Lords to Hull, whereas Carson wants to send them to hell. And someone's voted for St Kilda, and I don't think that's the one inside Melbourne. I think that's St Kilda. Isn't it an island, Scottish island or something, on miles away from anywhere? St Kilda Island. I might be making that up. Someone help me in the chat. My geography on St Kilda isn't that great. So could we talk about home for a moment before we go? I know this is GeoScope.
Do you want to talk about the other
Brussels.
breaking news just we're coming on? Brussels.
Brussels. Yeah, let's talk about Brussels for a minute. So today, there was supposed to have a Nazi conference in Brussels involving Nigel Farage, Cruella Braverman, some other dickheads from our, I'll say like the very opposite of the brightest and best, so the dimmest and worst of British politics. We're going to be.
It was
there.
the Dimble conference,
along with a bunch of grotesques from around Europe, including Viktor Orban, who's the fascist leader of Hungary, who wants to take back, control to what Hungary was like in the 1940s, I guess, when they were in the thrall of Adolf Hitler. Don't forget, Hungary was on the side of the Nazis during the Second World War. So, dalliance with that kind of thing these days should be frowned upon, even more than countries that went with Hitler. The police turned up to this Nazi conference and said, National Conservative Conference, Nazi, and said no. Taking back control.
The mayor got involved, apparently.
Excellent.
It was the mayor that pulled them in and told them to pull the conference. And apparently they'd been looking for two other venues, and two of the other venues had cancelled on them when they found out what they were hosting. This didn't go very well at all. But the whole point of this National Conservative Conference is we had it last year in the UK. And the whole point is to try and sort of revitalize national conservatism in Europe. Hence why it was in the UK last year, Brussels this year. And it is very, very funded by a lot of dark American money that has been flooding over in an attempt to try and influence and bolster their type of conservatives over here. Not the one, shall we say, that we're used to, shall we say. But that's what the National Conservative Conference has been. That's what their stated objective is. They've got a website that tells you all about them, what they're going to do. And honestly, it's not a very good conference. And to be honest, I'm in a bit of moral quandaries. While it is fun to see, Suella Braverman complain about, being shut down, also bear in mind, she tried to shut down protests she didn't like, which again, funny. But I'm in that bit of moral quandary where now I worry the far right will use this as ammunition. That while doing this may seem, the right, correct, and moral thing to do for these people to shut down, I now worry that in shutting it down, you've now given a lot of these far right agitators, a lot of these, people like Farage going, you see, this is why we left the EU. This is why, because Brussels has too much control. Again, EU had nothing to do with it. It was the mayor of Brussels that shut it down.
Yeah, but we always talked about the EU being Brussels because that was shorthand. So it meant that we didn't have to say that it was, our own thing that we were part of because it's part of our continent. It's the same thing that you're seeing with the European Court of Human Rights, which the Tories keep calling a foreign court. So, all those bureaucrats in Brussels making us do those things. And we're like, yeah, our MEPs are over there. That's people that we vote directly.
Yeah, you're an MEP, aren't you?
And we don't do anything that Europe tells us, the EU tells us to do, without voting for it in our parliament to make it law in our country. That we have to make it anyway. I was going to say domestically, we've had the smoking ban has come in. It's passed its second reading. But the other thing is that the Lords have backheeled 4 amendments. Insisted on 4 amendments in the Rwanda bill, including including allowing British courts to have a say, which is kind of important, and also from excluding people who say had been working as interpreters in Afghanistan from being sent to Rwanda. The political ping pong means it'll go back to the House of Commons tomorrow, and hopefully this will continue on till next January. And the Tories are finally ousted. Big thank you to Emma Price for the super chat. That's very kind. Thank you. It was hilarious. I watched Nigel Farage's outrage as he was taken out the building. He gave a press conference. It was absolutely hilarious. Just talk about Brussels there.
It was.
At the Nazi conference there. But yeah, the smoking ban has gone through. And the other thing that I just need to mention before we wrap up, Liz Truss has been out and about. And she stood up in Parliament today to make her first speech this year. It's almost as if she's got a book out. And do you know what it was about? It was about the freedom to give yourself and those around you cancer. That thing that we're not very good at curing. That thing that's going to kill most of us because we're not very good at curing it. Yeah, that thing. Let's have more of that. So she, came in on the side of cancer.
Have you taken the Liz Truss quiz?
No, I haven't. What's the Liz Truss quiz? Is it to see if I'm a wokerati? Did I cause the credit crunch or whatever it was that she?
No, it was in the Guardian today. I've got a video about it coming out tomorrow. They did a video about did Liz Truss say this? And it's a quote from all the stuff she's said in her book versus like quotes and stuff that they've made up.
Oh my God. Okay, so I got should we do
10,
it?
No, I got 12 out of 16, I think it is.
Okay, let's do it. Come on, everyone play along. We've got 5 minutes. Come on, let's finish off the show with this. Let's finish off with fun. This is the Guardian's Liz Truss quiz. What did Truss say was the advice that the Queen gave her when she was made Prime Minister? Was it always pack a black dress? Was it pace yourself? Was it being a woman in politics is tough? Or was it try to last longer than 49 days? Fastest finger first. Let us know in the chat what you think it is. I know what I think it is. No, you know what it is, don't you? Because you've done this.
I know it is. I've
already
already
done this quiz. Okay, well, I haven't done it yet. So we've got always pack a black dress. That seems unlikely. Pace yourself. That seems likely. Being a woman in politics is tough. That also seems likely. Try to last longer than 49 days. Anyone in the chat want to go? Weak Truss, says Duke. Anyone else want to have a go with this? Otherwise, I'm going to try and just answer it myself. Third, says Vendetta, which is being a woman in politics is tough. Anyone else coming in? The latter one. B, says David Farrow. Women hard. She said, why me? B, says Band of Harp Jays. We've got a couple of votes for B, and I think it's B. So I'm going to put B. I think it's pace yourself. And it was, yes, the Queen had previously commented to Truss about being a woman in politics being tough. But on this occasion, pace yourself was the advice. Question 2, what does Truss say she thought when was informed that the Queen Elizabeth II had died? When she was informed, what did she think? Did she think, bloody hell? Did she think, this is so unfair? Did she think, why me, why now? Or did she think, I have no black dresses in Downing Street yet? Sorry. So did she think, bloody hell, A, this is so unfair, B, why me, why now, C, I have no black dresses in Downing Street yet, which is D. Why me, says Yoni. I'm going to go for why me, because I think Yoni's right. Yes, that's correct. Truss wrote, to be told on my second full day as Prime Minister, I felt utterly unreal. I was in a state of shock. I found myself thinking, why me, why now? Because it was all about Liz Truss, not about the Queen dying or nothing. Okay, so I know the answer to this one, so I'm just going to throw it out there to the chat. Which supermarket does Truss complain found it difficult to deliver to her in Downing Street? Was it Lidl, Tesco, Sainsbury's, or Ocado? Was it Lidl, Tesco, Sainsbury's, or Ocado? And while people are trying to work out which one of those 4 it is, I've got a joke for you, Ollie.
Oh.
2 Scousers, and one goes, there's a fire down the Sainsbury's. And the other one goes, oh no, well, I messed that up. I messed up the joke. Oh, mate. There's been a fire down the Sainsbury's. And the other one goes, Asda. And he goes, no, the Sainsbury's. Okay, everyone's saying Ocado. It's Ocado. The answer's Ocado. Apparently, it was a nightmare getting it delivered. And when it finally was, nobody let her know because they didn't want to disturb the Prime Minister. This is what she wrote about in her book, like supermarket shopping. The logistics of being a supermarket, the Prime Minister. What did Liz Truss say about the accommodation for the Prime Minister in Downing Street? Was it A, gaudy and full of tat? B, I'm not sure it would be rated well on Airbnb. C, my cats immediately hated it and fought with Larry. Or D, you wouldn't expect Emmanuel Macron to live like this. So A, gaudy and full of tat, or gaudy, I guess, gaudy and full of tat. B, I'm not sure it'd be rated well on Airbnb. C, my cats immediately hated it and fought with Larry. Or D, you wouldn't expect Emmanuel Macron to live like this.
See, this is the hard one. This is where it starts to get a bit harder now.
Yeah, I was going to say
some of them, but you haven't heard this one.
Yeah,
before.
I haven't heard this one. Emma says, "Don't give up the day job, Graham." I don't have a day job. Oh my god!
I know this is where I need like a sparkly jacket instead. It's like surprise, nice to see you. Nice.
David Lilly saying B. Yoni saying Gordy. Gaudi, not Gordy. Lau. I'm saying Gordy wrong. How'd you say it? Like something's Gaudi, Gordy. Like in it. Should have been you, Geordie. Oh, that was Gordy. Should have been you, Gordy. Should have been you. Anyway, Steve Martin is saying A. And I like Steve Martin. I liked him more in the 80s, but he's quite good in Only Murders in the Building. Emma Price is saying D. And Ernie Burns is saying D. So I'm going to go for D. I'm going to trust you. I'm going for D, Ernie. Don't let me down. No! It was the Airbnb one. I'm not sure it would be rated well on Airbnb. Do you know what? I was actually thinking of putting that one. I should have said. If it was up to me, I would have put that one. He says after revealing the right answer.
Honestly, it's a quiz well worth taking because you realise some of the stuff, and then you're like, well, would Liz Truss say this? What would she say if you was Liz Truss? And you find yourself on a bizarre trip, pretending you're Liz Truss.
Yeah. Truss said it was surprisingly spacious, although it felt a bit soulless. She said Larry the cat was lovely, by the way. And apparently Gaudi is the architect from Barcelona who did the Sagrada Familia. Yes, you're right. One more. But just have one, okay? And I think people will know the answer to this because this has been in the news a little bit. So this is the final question for us, but I'm just going to put the link to the quiz on the Labour Social here because we have to go. And you can finish it off yourself. So the last question for tonight is, she said her Downing Street apartment was infested with what? Was it mice, That's A. B. Fleas. C. Earwigs. Or C. The ghost of Andrew Bonar Law, who was briefly Prime Minister from October 1922 to May 1923, which she now takes to have been a portent of doom. So was it A, mice, B, fleas, 3, F, C, I forgot how the alphabet works, C, earwigs, or D, the ghosts of Andrew Bonar Law? Or
God,
Bonar
I wish
Law.
it was that. What a comedy series that would be.
Blue Badger says lice, but Sarah's saying fleas. David is saying fleas. Vendetta saying ghost. Emma saying fleas. Joseph saying pies, badgers, pork products, pork markets. That is a disgrace. Jeez. Bullshitters. Sarah saying
B. Get the soundboard for you sorted out. Then you can have all these things. You can have the Liz Truss button where she just says pork markets.
Pork markets. And she just comes on the screen and everyone's face. Pork market. I've got to just say before I get the answer, like the righteous indignation in Liz Truss is just it's monstrous and a joy to behold at the same time. It's like, how can someone be that deluded? It blows my mind.
Of Liz
No, there's a new GIF.
So she went on Fox News to promote a book, and honestly, so first of all, she picks it up like this. Hang on. Oh no! First of all, she picks it up like this.
Okay.
And then she turns it round, and she's like, "Oh no, it's upside down." And then she turns it, and she's just like, that is now so GIF-worthy.
Couple of great books by me. Man of the World, first part of the Odyssey trilogy, and the Great Brexit Cookbook, which is well worth getting for your nan who voted for Brexit, who you don't speak to anymore. Who goes on Fox News to promote a book? Yeah, that's a good point, Yoni, because no one can read. Anyway, we go back to the answer was B, fleas. In the book she implies it might be down to Boris Johnson. Sorry, Boris Johnson's dog, Dylan, having lived there. Sorry, I didn't miss
something to look forward to, actually. Possibly, I think it's this week or it's next week. Liz Truss is doing a Heritage Foundation talk, which, if it's anything like last year, is going to be hilarious.
So in America.
Yeah.
So Heritage Foundation is a fascist organization. They call themselves a think tank in America, and they're the people behind Trump and possibly Putin.
Yeah, and Project 2025.
Project 2025, Brexit, everything that bad that's ever happened. Cambridge Analytica.
Yep. Probably funding the NatCon thing in Belgium and over here as well.
Yeah, it is a consortium of evil billionaires who are evil. We don't like them very much. Right. Okay. My head won't stop itching now, guys. Thanks. Sorry, we shouldn't mention fleas. Anyway, I'm going to be back in the morning at 9:30 for Morning Brew and at 12 o'clock for Prime Minister's Questions, the first one of the Michaelmas term, or whatever this term is called. I can't remember. Is it the Michaelmas term? The one in
I'm not sure.
Something
I
like
don't know,
that.
just call it Michaelmas.
The Mickey Mouse term.
The Michaelmas be upon us now.
Yeah. So it's the first Prime Minister's Questions. So please join us on Labour Social for that. And at 6 o'clock, we have a exclusive interview on the intersection, which would be well worth watching. So please look out for that at 6 o'clock tomorrow. So lots of stuff to look forward to on Labour Social. But we're going to have to say goodnight for now. So thank you very much, Ollie, for joining us and for furnishing us with your knowledge of the shit that went down this week around the world. And thanks very much to everyone watching. Thanks to all the chat and the super chat for keeping us amused and taking us off target many times. We always like that. Anyway, enjoy the new outro with the new dramatic music for the wonderful patrons and YouTube members. If you want to become one of those things, please, one of those things, that's a terrible thing to say. If you would like to become a patron or a YouTube member, you can either go to patreon.com/Labour Social, or just press the join button below us here on your phone or your computer or whatever you're watching this on. Tablet, maybe. What are you doing?
Just pointing now. It's like, I think they're here. I think
they're here. Depends what you're watching it on. It moves around. Press the join button, and you can join this channel and also get access to our Discord server. So please look out for that. In the meantime, I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.
Goodbye.